Hi, friends. Lovely to have you here. I'm going to talk about rejection sensitivity dysphoria, or RSD for short. RSD is what is occurring when a person experiences an intense, visceral, emotional pain in response to a rejection or a perceived rejection. RSD is not an established diagnosis or an official symptom of any diagnosis, but it is still a term that experts will often use when discussing certain conditions. It seems to be most commonly linked with ADHD, but it isn't specific to ADHD. However, the prevalence of RSD is significantly higher in people with ADHD. People who struggle with this level of rejection sensitivity tend to become major people pleasers. You tend to be very self conscious, feel more embarrassed, have low self esteem. You're likely to engage in a lot of negative self talk and struggle to control your reactions. RSD can sometimes lead people to become very avoidant. That's definitely been the case with me. I can remember there was a night when I was just like having this revelation of just how much of my life is related to this phenomenon. It genuinely has negatively impacted my life in many ways, including my relationship with myself. The thing about being extremely afraid of rejection, because I mean, why wouldn't you be when you feel the pain of rejection way more strongly than most people, is you begin to reject yourself before anyone else can. Because at least then you feel like you have some sense of control over it. It seems better. You prefer to just eliminate all situations that could potentially lead to rejection. So you may go as far as isolating yourself from other people, or you may just like severely stop yourself from doing or saying a lot of things because you feel like it might lead to some sort of rejection. There are strong feelings of guilt and shame in someone who experiences RSD. Many people who have this will feel like a failure and feel very discouraged in life. You may straight up quit things just to avoid future pain. You may also often overcompensate and overachieve. You might hide your emotions a lot because you've learned that they're too big. They're not, by the way. It's okay to have bigger feelings and it's okay to actually let yourself feel it. I really think that part of working through this struggle is exactly that, allowing yourself to feel it. And it's like, yeah, we don't want to feel it because it's painful, but emotions are meant to be felt because it also doesn't feel good when you build up such a resistance to feeling emotions. So, really, you should just allow yourself to feel it. I think the resistance only makes it worse. You start causing yourself even more pain when you're constantly trying to control things that are out of your control. You can't control other people and how they might make you feel, and you can't control your emotional response to something. You can't control how you choose to respond to things, but you can't control people and situations outside of you. You know, for a long time, I didn't think I had issues with control because I was seeing it in a very black and white kind of way. And go figure, right? Like, I thought that it just meant the type of person outwardly expressing control, like controlling other people, like the type of people that are always telling others what to do and how to live their lives and just being bossy, essentially. I don't know. But then I was like, no, having issues with control can also be things like avoiding and people pleasing and perfectionism and procrastination. I was really thinking about this concept of control when I was realizing the reason a lot of people procrastinate going to sleep is because they feel like they lack control in their life during the day, and so they try to take control during the night. And I was like, damn, that is why I do that, isn't it? But anyway, I started talking about control because I really think that part of helping yourself through rejection sensitivity dysphoria is releasing control. Understanding you can't control everything, You can't control how people respond to you, and it's about accepting that not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone has to like you. And the only reason that you can't accept that is because you're letting other people determine how you feel about yourself. You don't have to do that. Your worth is not dependent on other people. I really have gotten so much better at dealing with RSD. A big part of what has helped is simply having the understanding of whatever negative thoughts that are coming into my mind about the situation are just not true. Because we'll make something mean a million different things in our mind. Like, oh, this person didn't text me back. That must mean they hate me and they never want to speak to me again. It must mean that I said something wrong and they think I'm an idiot. Like, no, actually, you just made all of that up in your head just now because that person didn't say any of those things. So, reminding yourself of that can be very helpful. And just like you can assume the worst, you can also assume the best. So, if you're going to make up a story about it, you might as well make it a nice story. Like, you could just as easily say, this person didn't text back. They must have gotten busy, and they want to respond when they can give me their full, undivided attention because they value me as a person. In fact, I think they're going to respond in the most positive and loving way. I'm looking forward to what they have to say. It might take practice to become better at challenging and shifting your narratives, but it's definitely worth it. So, from my personal experience, I think reminding yourself that rejection doesn't mean that there's this long list of things that are wrong with you, and practicing releasing control can be a very helpful thing. And the exact causes of RSD aren't really known, but something I've learned recently that I find quite interesting and feel like makes a lot of sense is that apparently RSD appears to heavily overlap with CPTSD, and the medication that can be used to treat RSD is also the same medication that they prescribe to people with PTSD. Essentially, the reaction that someone is having when experiencing RSD is similar to when someone is experiencing a PTSD flashback. So, to me, that seems like we're asking the question whether or not RSD is the result of complex trauma. If this is just what complex trauma looks like, it makes sense to me. Having a different neurotype than what society has labeled as the standard is quite traumatic. When you're not meeting all the behavioral standards of the people around you, you face a lot of rejection. And that repeated rejection really does something to a person. It makes a lot of sense that you might develop all these ways to protect yourself and become fearful of the next time that you might face some sort of rejection, criticism, failure, etc. It can definitely be quite the process working through any healing from this, but it's definitely possible to make it easier on yourself. Knowing about what's happening, like I said, is a big help and the first step. Just being aware of what is happening can make you feel better because you know that you're not alone in it. There's a lot of other people who experience this as well. And it also lets you know that nothing is actually wrong with you. So you can remind yourself that experiencing a form of rejection doesn't determine your value. And then something else you can do for yourself is surround yourself with people who will be supportive of you, who will understand this about you and be willing to give you reassurance when you need it. You can communicate with people about what you're experiencing and you can ask them for clarification when you're not sure about what people meant by certain things or how they actually feel about you. You know, be friends with people who stand up for you. Things like this. I think that's it for now. If you liked this video, please give me a like and subscribe to this channel. And feel free to share your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you would like to show even more support, you can make a donation to my Ko-fi, which I will have linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!